Today we're going to learn how to use the Puppet Pin tool. Now we're going to go through all the steps of how to get there. So we've got our background, we've got our avatar, and the first thing we need to do is move our avatar across the screen. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a keyframe, our starting point. So we're going to open up the settings for our character, and then we're going to set a keyframe by position. There's a little clock down here and you click in it. Then we're going to set the duration. How long do I want to take to get across the screen? So I'm going to take about that long, and I'm going to move myself across the screen. Now you'll see there are my keyframes this is my keyframe and these are my tweens. So you watch and I'll move across the screen. Now the next thing we want to do, is we want to make yourself hop. We take the pin tool and we're going to make a keyframe on each side of our avatar. Then we're going to take the arrow tool and we're going to drag it up. And there you can see the arc of where I'm going to bounce. Now I'm going to bounce again. So I'm going to take the pin tool and I'm going to create a keyframe on each side of my character. Arrow tool, drag myself up. Here, I'll get a lot of air this time. And then I'll bounce one more time. So, pin tool, make a keyframe on one side, make a keyframe on the other, and then drag myself up. So now, I'm going to bounce. So then you add the sound effect of the bounce, and you'll be ready to walk. So now we're going to make our character walk. To make our character walk, we use this tool called the Puppet Pin tool. And what we'll do is we create some pivot points on our character. So I'm just going to create 4 points just because we don't want to spend a lot of time watching me make pivot points. So we make the 4 pivot points, and these are like little pins. These are spots where I'm going to start my walking. Then I'm going to move down the timeline a little bit, maybe just right before I bounce. And then I'm going to I'm going to stretch out my feet so that it looks kind of like I'm walking, or sliding, I guess would be more appropriate. So kind of exaggerated so you can really see it. And then you'll see, there I walk. And then I'm getting ready to bounce. So then I'll bring my feet back. And then I'll bounce, and then I'll land. Boom. Stretch my feet out a little bit for my next feet of walking. Move down a little bit until I get ready to bounce. Okay, I'm going to bounce again. So I'm going to put my feet back. And then I'll bounce, and then I'll put my feet, then I'll walk one more time. So I'll stretch out my feet. Something like that. Move a little bit. And then right before I jump, I'm going to put my feet back. Then I'll jump, and then I'm going to move my feet again. Stretch them out. Then I'm going to get ready to move off the screen. When I get over here, I want my feet back to normal. So I'll move them back. And then I'll move off the screen. And then notice how like my motion ends here, but the playhead would keep going. I come up here to the control of the duration of the playhead, the work area, and I drag this back. And then now my animation will end right here. So let's look at what I've done. So there's my steps, and I bounce and I walk across the screen. And that is how we animate, and that is how we make a character walk.